get so mad. But in the paper, it must be true. The travel books say that the South Pacific island of Rikki-Tikki is a land of nothing but fun, fun, fun. But in our last episode, Rocky was seized by natives who seemed to have some rather special dinner plans for him.
And that's no fun, believe me.
You hush mouth. No one's back talk from main course.
Of course, Bullwinkle landed by parachute just a short distance away. But as he started to Rocky's aid, the chute landed on top of him, and he started to stagger about blindly. And with our other two friends, the captain and the professor, hung up in a wait-a-bit bush, things looked pretty gosh-awful for our side.
Like it says, nothing but fun, fun, fun.
Meanwhile, back at the clearing...
Let's see. Who we invite to dinner, Sam?
What about Nararutu tribe?
We owe them dinner?
Sure. You remember they have us over last month for roast brisket of missionary.
Think squirrel big enough to go round?
Better add more carrots, Mabutu.
Who else we invite?
I'd like to invite somebody.
You? Who you invite?
The United States Marines.
Squirrel, pretty good sport, huh?
Very sweet kid. In fact, he's so sweet.
You gonna let me go?
No, but maybe we serve you for dessert instead.
Oh, boy.
Yes, Rocky was in hot water, all right, and he might have wound up as just another entry in the Rikki-Tikki Fireside Cookbook if just then...
Uh-oh. What's that, Sam?
Nothing human, you bet.
Sound like great swamp spirit.
Oh, come on, Mabutu. This 20th century.
You got points, Sam. No great swamp spirit, huh?
No.
Then what that?
Sure enough, coming at them out of the gloom was an eerie, shapeless figure.
Well, no just stand there, Mabutu. Run!
I thought this was 20th century.
It is, but how we know great swamp spirit count that high?
You got points, Sam.
And the terrified Rikki-Tikkians fled for the bush. But at that moment, the great swamp spirit tripped over a root. There was a tearing sound, and out popped none other than...
Bullwinkle, it was really you with your parachute draped over you.
Yeah, I'm going to write a letter to that company, and
Gee, that was a brilliant idea.
I'll tell them their ding-busted parachutes are a brilliant idea.
Sure, those natives thought you were the great swamp spirit.
Swamp spirit?
Sure, it's a ghost that's all white and creepy looking.
You mean like that thing there?
Bullwinkle!
Oh, get it?
I tried to tell you, that's your other foot.
Yeah, I figured that. Only one thing bothers me.
What's that?
What are you doing in that silly bathtub?
But this is...
I know it isn't Saturday, so why the tub?
But...
Full of carrots, too.
Oh, come on.
Never thought you'd go high-hat, Rocky.
Hi-hat.
You're the only fella I know who takes a 14-carat bath.
But while this gay badinage was taking place, the island of Rikki-Tikki was swinging farther and farther north. As a result, the temperature dropped suddenly, and our heroes found themselves in a very cold climate.
Bullwinkle, the weather's changing.
How can you tell?
Well, the barometer pressure's dropping.
Uh-huh.
And those are cirrus clouds up there.
True.
And besides,
Yes.
the water's frozen solid and I can't get out of this pot.
Oh, sainted and Agnes McGee. Is Rocky doomed to remain a talking ice cube till this story is over? We'll find out more in Snowbank Squirrel, or Bullwinkle Gets the Drift.
You all remember the story of Sleeping Beauty. How as a baby she was put under a spell by a wicked fairy. How when she had grown up she pricked her finger with a needle and fell into a deep sleep from which she could be wakened only by a kiss. You remember, too, how a fence of thorns grew round the castle to prevent anybody from entering.
Anybody but me, that is.
And just who are you?
A prince, naturally. Don't you see the robes, the crown? You want to see my ID card?
Well, how do you propose to enter the castle?
Easy. I haul out my trusty broadsword and... They don't make broadswords like they used to.
The prince was distraught. What was he to do?
I'll show you. These they make like they used to.
The prince made straight for the tower room.
Sleeping Beauty, I've come at last. With one kiss, I shall waken you and... Wait a minute. Oh, wait, she's just another princess. Asleep. She's a gold mine. I can see it now. Sleeping Beauty comics, Sleeping Beauty hats, Sleeping Beauty bubble gum, and biggest of all, Sleeping Beautyland.
Sure enough, the castle was soon made ready as a great tourist attraction. There was moat land.
Have your X-coupons ready, please. Have your X-coupons ready.
There was entrance hall land.
Y coupons, please.
There was stair land.
That's a Z coupon, folks. A Z coupon.
And, of course, Sleeping Beauty herself. Sleeping Beauty Land was clearly a great success.
1,000,001, 1,000,002. Sorry, the castle's closed till 8 a.m.
Hold it, Junior. I'm Yolanda, the wicked fairy that puts Sleeping Beauty to sleep.
Well, that calls for some free coupon books.
Books, Nook, I want half of this whole setup. Or else.
Else what?
Else I use my magic powers to wake her up.
Well, now, we can't have that. Can we, partner? And you are my partner, and a charming one at that. Now, wouldn't you like to see some of our Sleeping Beauty Land?
Why not?
Just step this way to Dungeon Land.
My, this is spooky.
Well, it's very popular. Some people stay here for a long, long time.
How does it work?
Well, I put these around your wrist, you see?
Yes?
Then I leave. Well, have a good time. I'll see you in a couple of years, kid.
So, once again, the prince was in business for himself.
1,064,000, 1,065,000.
Hiya, honey.
You're back. You broke the chains.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to.
Well, partner, how about trying our special submarine ride?
Keen.
The cement is just a safety precaution. The city makes us do it.
I like the way it squishes between my toes.
It's quick drying, too. There. Not squishy now, is it?
If I like this one, can I go again?
I'm afraid not. It's more of a one-way ride.
So the prince was once more without a partner.
4,002,000, 4,003,000.
Hello, I'm back. That ride was more fun, especially that first part.
But-
Imagine half of all this is mine.
Yes, including the souvenir sales.
Souvenirs? How much do they sell for?
Well, this one is 75 cents. This one is $1. This Sleeping Beauty cowboy lasso is only $1.69. Now, let's see. Carry the 4 and... Say, you're in luck, little lady.
I am.
You betcha. You also get the official Sleeping Beauty Land moon rocket as a bonus gift.
Goody. I've always wanted a rocket.
And the clever prince had apparently solved his problem. But soon, he had another one. For the next morning, the crowds outside the castle were smaller, and the next day, smaller still. Clearly, Sleeping Beauty was a slipping beauty, and the prince was very sad indeed. Then, suddenly...
Hiya, sweetie. I'm back. And was that ever a ride?
Well, you can have the whole thing back now, Toots. Sleeping Beauty Land is a flop.
Now, wait a minute. She's been asleep for 20 years, right?
Right.
Maybe people would pay money to talk to somebody who's been asleep for 20 years.
You mean
Yes, we just wake her up.
we'll make a fortune? Go ahead and do it.
Who, me?
You put her to sleep, didn't you?
Well, frankly, no. I'm not really a wicked fairy. I'm just wicked.
But then how?
Easy. You kiss her. You're a prince, aren't you?
Well, not exactly. I never joined the union. I really make my living beating pigskins.
You mean...
Yes, I'm a hog flogger.
But just then a remarkable thing happened. Sleeping Beauty's eyes opened, and she sat up.
Don't worry, kids. I wasn't really asleep.
Then why the big 20-year act?
I just wanted to see if I could make it in showbiz.
And the players are taking the field for Frog Soccer. And
The ball's in play.
Terrific.
A scissor kick. He scores! The ball is bouncing.
From frog to frog to frog to frog.
He's leaping for it.
Perfect.
It takes fancy frog work.
Amazing.
We have a new champion. Frog soccer. What a game!
This Mega Nicktoon Monday, we're giving you a 3-hour-long mega jolt of Nick's most twisted twosome. It's Ren and Stimpy on Mega Nicktoon Monday. This Monday on Nick.
A flying lion?
Breakfast. There's none in sight.
Getting hungry?
Sure am, Toucan Sam.
Colorful fruit flavors should suit you just right. Follow my nose to the flavors of orange, lemon, cherry, and lime.
Lime.
In Kellogg's Fruit Loops.
Wow, what a nosedive, Sammy.
Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal, part of this complete breakfast with a full day supply of vitamin C.
Another Fruit Loops fan.
Yeah, and it's high time I...
Wow!
Put it in writing.
I'll give you a hint as to where we are going today, Sherman. What do I have in my hand?
A pitcher of water.
What do I have in my other hand?
A pitcher of Uncle Louie.
Correct. Now, I hold the pitcher over the picture. What am I going to do?
Looks like you're going to water Uncle Louie.
Almost, Sherman. We are going to Waterloo. For the historic battle, you know, in which Napoleon was defeated by Wellington. The year 1815, the place of Belgium. When we arrived, the three-day battle was reaching a climax. The French troops were below in a valley, and there on a hill to the north was Wellington's army poised to attack.
What are they waiting for, Mr. Peabody?
The command to attack.
Who's supposed to give it?
Obviously not that horse. The eyes of every soldier were focused on a lone steed standing in front, riderless. From the insignia on the saddle, that horse belonged to the Duke of Wellington.
Well, where is he?
The answer came from a sergeant standing nearby.
We've been waiting for him for 3 days. He's the only one who can shout charge.
Did he receive orders to report to Waterloo?
I gave him to him myself before we left Blighty.
Then it's obvious what has happened. You see, there are 2 Waterloos. I instructed the sergeant to do nothing until we returned, and Sherman and I left for Waterloo, Denmark. And there we found the Duke of Wellington at Waterloo Hot Springs taking a mineral bath.
What a delightful way to spend a war. Hand me that bone, won't you?
Your pardon, your lordship, but what are you doing?
My orders were to come to Waterloo and take bone apart. So far, I've taken 4 bones apart.
Oh, Mr. Wellington, I mean your dukeship. You're at the wrong Waterloo.
We explained the error and urged that he return to the scene of the actual battle.
Get my carriage immediately.
Moments later, we were rolling back toward Belgium, or so we thought.
Gee, Mr. Peabody, look out the window. I didn't know there was an Eiffel Tower in Belgium.
There isn't. Driver!
Oui, monsieur.
I was answered by a French accent holding a French pistol.
What does this mean, Mr. Peabody?
It means we are being duke-napped. The carriage didn't come to a stop until we reached the Louvre Museum. At gunpoint, we were forced into a large room containing famous paintings. The door was locked securely and a guard stationed outside.
Charge!
Not yet, your lordship. I'll tell you when. It was indeed a stroke of luck that we had been placed in that particular room, for the paintings on the wall gave me an idea. I rapped on the door, it opened, and the guard entered.
Sacre bleu, they are guns!
So he thought. In reality, we had taken positions in a large picture frame. Sherman and I posing as Whistler and his dog, and Wellington as Blue Boy.
After them!
The way was clear, and we quickly made our departure. Once out in the street, we stopped to catch our breath. And so did a squad of guards who had just turned the corner.
Look, a man, a boy, and a bow-wow.
Quick, Sherman, pick up that stick, yell, fetch, and throw it. Sherman complied.
Fetch, Mr. Peabody!
I ran after the stick, picked it up, then I too yelled, fetch, and threw it. This time Wellington retrieved it, yelled,
fetch,
and threw it. It was Sherman's turn, and in such a manner we fetched our way out of danger.
Very fetching.
On the outskirts of Paris, we looked for a conveyance that would enable us to get to our destination. The only thing we saw was a hay wagon.
Shall we get aboard, Mr. Peabody?
Yes, we'd best make hay while the sun shines. Sherman took the reins while the Duke and myself sought concealment in the hay. We were making good time until we reached the Belgian border, and there we were stopped by French sentries. It was a terrible time for the Duke to come down with an attack of hay fever.
Spies! After them!
Sherman urged our horses onward while the sentries set off in pursuit on sleek, speedy chargers.
They're gaining on us, Mr. Peabody. We'll never outrun them.
Then we must slow them down. How are you at pitching hay, your lordship? fairly wasn't very good, but all that mattered was that we left a trail of hay behind us, and the aforementioned sleek, speedy chargers, unable to resist their favorite fodder, gorged themselves.
This is no time to stop and eat. Giddy up.
But an army travels on its stomach, and so do sleek, speedy chargers. 2 hours later, we were at the front, and Wellington was astride his mount.
We made it. Now all he has to do is sound the charge.
But it seemed the poor Duke was so unnerved by the recent events, he was speechless.
If he won't speak, the army won't charge.
Then he will speak. Your lordship, I have just received word that your house in England has new wall-to-wall carpeting. How do you want it fastened to the floor? With glue or with a tack?
Attack!
That was the word we were waiting for.
Well, there he goes, Mr. Peabody. What a great soldier.
Not only that, Sherman, but after the war, he became a great playwright under the name of Arthur Wellington.
Arthur Wellington, a playwright?
Of course. You hear his name mentioned in theaters all over the world. At the conclusion of every play, the audience rises, applauds, and shouts, Arthur! Arthur!
What you're looking at is not some strange unknown planet, but our own ever-loving Earth, when Professor von Besch's theory was proved, and it turned sideways. As a result, there's a new North Pole, what used to be the South Pacific island of Rikki-Tikki. Oh, and here in a pot full of ice is Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
Gee, and I was afraid you were going to be boiled in this thing.
Hey, that's it, Bullwinkle.
What's it? You want to get boiled?
No. But if you light a fire under this pot, it'll melt the ice.
A pretty brainy idea, Rock. I'm sure glad you're not froze at both ends.
Me too.
So Bullwinkle struck a match and tried to light the kindling under Rocky's pot, but to no avail.
What's the matter, Bullwinkle?
It was so cold that the match flame had frozen solid.
Might as well put it away till it thaws out. No use wasting it.
Gee, I can't move.
Sure you can.
How?
I'll carry you.
And the mighty Moose hoisted his pole and started off.
Bullwinkle! I'm right here, Rock.
I didn't say anything.
I could have swore I heard somebody say,
Rocky!
Hey, that's another voice.
Yeah, pretty blood-chilling, isn't it?
Not very blood-chilling, Rock.
Maybe not for you, but I'm so cold already it doesn't take much.
Oh, they were familiar-type voices, too.
Well, of course they were. That was Captain Peter Peachfuzz and the Professor. They must be in trouble.
Sure enough, as Bullwinkle looked down from the top of the hill, he saw their two friends being carried away by a band of half-frozen but still ferocious natives.
We gotta stop them.
You bet. Hey, cut that out, you guys.
It's Bullwinkle and Rocky.
Cut that out, I say.
I do wish he'd stop saying cut that out.
Why?
I'm afraid the natives will take the hint.
Well, the natives lined up in battle array before the charging moose, their sharp spears at the ready, and Bullwinkle chose that moment to trip over his feet.
He's done for.
Him? What about us?
But in falling, Bullwinkle had dropped the pot containing Rocky and his ice cube.
Oh, Fuzz. I got a split. That's going to be hard to pick up, too.
Not too hard, really, for while the captain and the professor took care of one Rikki-Tikkian, the empty pot took care of the other.
Empty pot?
Looky there. Rocky on the rocks.
The collision had freed the plucky squirrel, and he sat unharmed on a pile of ice cubes.
Well, Professor, looks like your theory was right. It's pretty cold.
Jawohl, but I wish I wasn't quite so ice. And a little bit warmer.
But at that moment...
Oh.
What happened?
We're in luck. I think Bullwinkle's match is thawed out. Come on.
And while our friends tried to warm their hands behind a smoldering Bullwinkle, they were watched by a pair of evil eyes belonging to... Oh, no.
Oh, give a guess who?
Oh, come on now. You're not Santa Claus. You're Boris Badenov.
I'm Sandy Claus and I can prove it.
How?
I got a witness. My assistant, Elf.
Isn't she a little tall for an elf?
It's the high heels, darling. They fool you.
Oh, boy.
Well, Elf, it's time to pay our first visit.
To whom, Santa, darling?
To those goody goods on the other end of island. And I take everybody a present, too.
What kind of present?
What else? Bum-bums.
Well, will Boris's dastardly scheme really succeed? We'll find out next time in Claws and Effect, or You'll Be Sorry.
Hang tight. Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama will be right back.
Hey, Taylor, pass me the corn pops.
Where next, Caddy?
Right, sir. Oh, no, I want my Kellogg's corn pops. Stay calm.
Let's go, son.
Coming. Go and leave behind my corn pops. Are you serious? Oh, like sweet popcorn, there's never enough. And now I have to lug this bag on an empty tank and shag balls for this divot head who thinks I'm his son while they get the pops. Hey, somebody get me out of this.
Yes. Kellogg's Corn Pops is part of this complete breakfast.
I gotta have my pops.
Pet pal Skipper in her cool pink skirt with a picture of her pal right on her shirt. Courtney comes up and says, I've lost my kitty. Got her picture on my shirt cause she's real pretty. Skipper finds her in a tree. Now she's having fun with you and me.
Dolls each sold separately.
Under the water swims a mermaid fair with magical rainbow hair. Wow. Mermaid Barbie. Her hair turns pink and lavender and blue. In icy water, magic you can do. Mermaid Barbie.
I've always dreamed of pitching in the majors, just like Nolan Ryan.
Now pitching Nolan Ryan.
I'm going for a no-hitter with Nolan Ryan strike zone baseball. You pitch right in your room as the announcer gives the play-by-play.
The pitch. Swing and a miss.
Pitch to the flashing light. Better hit it or the batter will.
It's a line drive to center. 2 out.
This guy's pretty tough.
Strike 3. That's the ball game.
Nolan Ryan strike zone baseball. It's like playing in the big leagues.
Better warm up.
You are in the O-Zone. And now back to Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama.
Hello, poetry pals. I'm wearing this Old Mother Hubbard because today's poem is Old Mother Hubbard. Pretty slick, huh? Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, the cupboard was there, and so the poor dog got none.
Hold it. You mean after 5 years of watchdog and I don't get a bone?
That's what the poem says.
That does it. I'm going on strike.
On strike?
I'll pull out every pooch from Pottsville to Paducah. Mother Hubbard unfair to canine.
But...
She's anti-dog.
No, I'm Mother Hubbard.
Unfair.
Now, wait. I don't have a bone, but will something else do?
Like such as what?
So she went to the bread box to get him some bread, but as soon as he saw it...
You kidding, he said?
So she went to the icebox and hauled out a steak. And as soon as he saw it, he started to shake.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
That's okay, huh?
Well, it's not a bone, mind you.
Well, then...
It'll do. Now, here's your new watchdogging contract.
How come it's all tattered on the edge?
That? Those are the fringe benefits. Well, it finally happened. Professor von Bege's theory of the polar flip actually came to pass, and the Earth really had a new North Pole. Of course, this caused a great deal of consternation all over the world. London, for instance.
Let's face it, old bean. We're living on a ruddy tropical island.
It was true. People attended the opening day at Ascot and Sarongs. The House of Lords discarded its ermines and dressed exclusively in muumuus, and even the familiar London bobbies looked different. Their helmets were the same, but they now wore shorts and ankle-length stockings called... If you say Bobby Socks, so help me, I'll base you. Moscow, too, had its troubles.
But you've got to do it, Commissar.
Yes, Vasily, impossible.
But it's so hot. I've got to go where it's cool.
I can do a thing for you.
But you can. Please, Commissar, send me to Siberia.
And the sudden change in directions had dire effects in the U.S. as well.
Hey, Clint, how come you looking so down in the mouth?
I'm just looking at the new map here, Harold.
And?
The full enormity of what's happened just hit me.
Enormity?
Yep. Look, Texas is now way up here.
What difference does that make, Clint?
Don't you see, Harold? From now on, we're Yankees. As a matter of fact, only one man seemed delighted at the change. And he was on the island of Rikki-Tikki, which formed the new North Pole. His name, Boris Badenov.
Or as we call him, St. Nicholaus.
Yes, Boris had decided to put himself in the Santa Claus business.
You know a better location?
Think of it, Natasha. People invite you down their chimneys every year. It's like a license to steal.
As if you needed one, darling.
And for his first call, Boris decided to pay a visit to Bullwinkle and Rocky, who were at that moment trying to work out a plan.
Bullwinkle, we just gotta get the world straightened out.
Yeah, and after we do that, let's think about what to have for dinner.
Fortunately, our heroes had the help of Professor von telephone beige himself.
Gentlemen, I've got it.
A way to straighten up the world?
No, what to have for dinner? First, a little Kartoffelsuppe mit
Maybe
Leber.
we ought to solve the other problem first.
Rocky, when my stomach starts growling, there are no other problems.
Well, let's ask ourselves how this happened in the first place.
All righty. How did this happen in the first place?
I don't know.
Me either. Let's get an easier question.
It happened because the old North Pole got too heavy with ice and snow and slipped over sideways.
Then that's what we'll do.
Slip over sideways?
No, make it snow up here.
Hey, that's a great idea if we don't freeze to death first.
Yes, that was a problem, for with the shift in climate, the bottom had fallen out of every thermometer on the island. Hundreds of natives shivered in the icy blast.
Go on, Chief. Try tell us climate isn't changing.
You young punks always complaining. This just little cold snap.
Cold snap! Man, we living at North Pole.
This is living. Nonsense, boys. This tropic zone.
Then who that coming? Commander Whitehead?
Jumping Juju. It's Santa Claus.
And his helper.
Then it's true. World has flipped.
Ho, 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 darling.
Hey, Santy, you got some pair red flannels for me?
You've been a good boy, haven't you?
You bet 'em.
That's why you don't have red flannels. Be bad boy and steal some. Ho, ho, ho.
You know something, Chief?
Huh?
Not only world flip, Santa flip, too.
No, it wasn't the same old generous Santa.
What do you talk? I got it here special Christmas present for Moose.
Oh, well, that's different. What is it?
I give you one clue. It's a ticking package.
An alarm clock? A wristwatch? An egg timer?
See, Natasha, you can fool some of the people all the time.
And we'll find out just how many people in Boom at the Top are the angry young moose.
This week, Clarissa explains her dad, the male model.
Yeah, this could get seriously embarrassing.
Dad Vogues and Clarissa Snicks. Saturday at 8/7 Central. Only on Nickelodeon.
I read